Adopting a dog, it's one of the most magical, heartwarming, and wonderful experiences. It gives you a chance to have a great friendship that's like no other, and you help out an animal in need. However, it doesn't always go so smooth in the beginning. I have some tips to help you and your new best friend adjust to their new life. Stick with me, we got this. Tip 1, do not, and I repeat, do not assume that your dog knows anything. I mean, don't assume that they know their name. Don't assume that they're housebroken. Don't assume that they know that they shouldn't eat your trash out of your trash can. Like, imagine they're a foreign visitor from a foreign land. Your house is new. Every home has its own culture, has its own rhythms, has its own timing, like how you do things. So even if the dog was in a foster home, and let's say the dog was housebroken in the foster home, or the dog was calm in the shelter. What was that? Okay, reset. Even if your dog was well behaved in the shelter or foster home, or they were housebroken there, that doesn't mean that they're not gonna have accidents those first few weeks at home. It doesn't mean that they even understand that your house is a no-pee zone. So give them some grace and help them reset. Just give them a chance to learn. They will learn. They do actually want to please you. Also, they don't know their name. Just being real. All their name is a bunch of sounds, and the more you repeat it at them, expecting them to know it, doesn't help. I have some more tips on this later on. Give your dog time to settle in. There's a universal rule that a lot of rescue organizations and rescue buffs have put together. It's called the 3-3-3 rule, or the honeymoon period. Or it's the fearful period, because sometimes they're so afraid that it takes them that long. But the premise of this, and it's not a hard and fast rule, it does have its nuances that are factored in by your dog's history, temperament, personality, and your home, your personality, and the environment, all that. But the premise is your dog needs 3 days to decompress from whatever's happened. Shelter life is really rough. A lot of dogs are very traumatized, and the longer they've been in the shelter, the more likely that they are to have been traumatized by this. Then it's gonna take 3 additional weeks for them to start learning you, start learning your rhythm, and they might start opening up and trusting you. A lot of times dogs during the first 3 week period, like I mentioned before, they might have some accidents in the house, and they may not actually be fully housebroken during that time. Stay calm, it's okay. The more you can build your dog's trust during this time and let them know it's okay, don't yell at them, just roll with the punches, clean it up, and look into how you housebreak a dog. It's okay, you got this. Number 3, 3 months. It takes 3 months for the dog to really settle in and really believe that this is their new home. And you may not see your dog's full personality until one of these phrases. It's kind of interesting because some dogs, their personality will just start to shine at the 3rd day, or after 3 weeks, or after 3 months. Give your dog that chance to settle in. It's okay. My first dog that my family had, family dog, her name is Texas. Perfect dog. We didn't hardly train her. She just came perfect. We raised her as a puppy. Well, our second dog we adopted, his name was Copper. He was a beautiful tan and white pocket beagle, which if you've never seen a pocket beagle, they're absolutely adorable. They're like small little beagles. Like they're absolutely so cute. But Copper, we ran into him at a fair an adoption fair at our local strip mall. And my dad fell in love with this dog. Now my dad is this very tall, loud person. He's teddy bear, like big old teddy bear, but he's big and he's loud. Copper and my dad hit it off. Well, 2 or 3 days into Copper being home, our other dog, Texas, kind of let Copper know that she was coming into her space and she didn't like it. Well, my dad, wanting to stand up for Copper, raised his voice at Texas like hey, knock it off. Not anything serious, he wasn't abusive, he was just kind of loud, like, hey, don't do that. Which in and of itself is not necessarily a bad thing, except for it traumatized Copper. And he became fearful of my dad. We didn't know about the 3-3-3 rule. And we didn't even know how to deal with a fearful dog. And so we made a lot of mistakes with Copper. I mean, this is years and years ago, okay? And because of this, Copper actually ended up being my dog, and he actually gave me a little bit of a heart for fearful dogs because he was afraid of men. He was afraid of thunderstorms. He was afraid of fireworks, gunshots, which we lived in an area where people went hunting all the time, so you could hear gunshots in the distance. So I had to learn how to reassure him without reassuring him. So anyways, it's okay if you have to work with your dog. They're still gonna be a wonderful dog, and if you need to seek professional help, go for it. I am listing in the description all kinds of resources. I've got books, blogs, training videos from professional dog trainers. We used, what are y'all doing? So this girl, Clover, she did puppy school with McCann Dogs. They have a YouTube channel, lots of free resources. They have blogs, they have podcasts on dog training, and they have an online dog school for dogs. When I had any type of question, if I had a training issue, they were great. They were wonderful. They answered my questions. They were extremely responsible. We had a lot of great experience with McCann Dogs. Their puppy school was great. I highly recommend them. I assume that they're for adult dogs, 6 months, 5 months old. I don't know. All their information down below. I've got you. I also love this book by Lily Chen for dog body language. If this is your first dog and you're not familiar with dogs, or you want to teach your kids about dog body language, it has beautiful illustrations. It's inexpensive. It's a great buy. Highly recommend this book. And if you need help staying on track with your training, I have a dog training journal that I sell that I design myself. I did design it for service dog training because I am training my own service dog, Clover. However, you can use it for any dog. I could use it for Hannah, who's not my service dog. She's just a family pet. I could use it for Joy, our other little dog. It is so usable. It's so user-friendly. It's so customizable. It's got a glossary of dog training terms. It's got a checklist for things that every dog should know. It has weekly goals. It has all kinds of things just for you. I'm very happy with how it turned out, and I already have a lot of positive feedback coming up, and it hasn't even been out for a month yet, so I'm super excited. I hope you like it. You don't want to spend the money on it? That's fine. Pick up a piece of paper and log what's happening with your new dog, because the advantage of training is this. When you train your dog and you journal, and training doesn't take long. With my service dog, I spend at most 15 minutes of actual focus training. We do, however, use everyday experiences, which is one of my tips that I'm getting to. Train with everyday life. Every moment is a training opportunity. If you don't want your dog to do something that you don't want them to do, you need to limit their access to it or train through it. What do I mean by this? Well, Clover is a little reactive at the window, which means we need to watch her reactions to the window and people walking through. Sometimes my response is, okay, you're not gonna bark. We're just gonna go move you to the room. We'll distract you. Or sometimes it's I see something coming through the window before she does, and we're gonna train through it, and I'm gonna establish the behavior I want with her. So it's not a whole lot. I keep cereal because that's an easy snack for the dog, like easy treat, like just little honey nut. I learned that from McCann Dogs, from instructor Christine. I keep cereal in my pocket, and anytime my dog does something good, I can reward her. Or if I need to train her through something, I keep that. But it doesn't take long. You don't have to be a professional trainer. You just need to condition your dog to learn the rules of the house. Teach them their name. This is how I teach my dogs their name. I wish my pocket's empty. I'm breaking my own rules. This is real life, people. So I like to keep cereal in my pocket, like I said, and I would say, Clover, hey, yes, good girl. Hi, Clove. And she didn't respond, so I'm getting her attention, but she did look at me. But I only say her name once or twice. And then when she looks at me, I yes and reward her with a treat is what I would do. And sometimes I'll just stand in the kitchen in the mornings, and I will just, with one of my dogs, I do it with all 3 of my dogs, I will just say their name, And I will just name, treat, name, treat, name, treat, name, treat, name, treat. And then that means to them, like, could you imagine? Instructor Kale at McCann Dogs put it this way. You can't tell, I'm a big fan of them. She's like, if I called my husband's name, her husband's name is Ken. She's like, if I called Ken's name and I gave him a piece of chocolate every time he looked at me, what do you think would happen? He would always look at me happily. Same thing with our dogs. Now, you're not gonna rely on treats all the time. You eventually wanna wean off treats, and some dogs aren't treat motivated, so you might have to get creative and use toys or play or pets. Like our dog Hannah, like pets are her thing. Like pet her. Just pet that dog. All she wants in life is to be pet. Clover's happy with toy rewards, food rewards, and pet rewards. She's a little bit more food motivated, so it works. Joy is totally food motivated, like seriously, so just any food. Anyways, another thing is only use their name in select areas. So don't overuse their name. I've done a whole video on this. Oh, we'll link that at the end. Say your dog's name with love. Don't overuse it, and reward them for looking at you when you say their name. And that will train them that their name means good things and not just an annoying sound that's to be ignored in the background, because they will. Learn everything you can about your dog's history. Were they a street dog? Were they a family dog that was too rambunctious and the owners couldn't handle them? Copper, for instance, we know that he was a hunting dog that would not hunt. Turned out he was scared of a gunshot. Learn what you can, because if your dog was a street dog, they're gonna be slower to trust you. They're gonna probably be more prone to guard their food. Hey, Chloe. Good girl. Yes, good. Good girl. Just good girl. Learn what you can about your dog and piece together. Not every dog, in fact, most dogs in the shelter are not abused. And just because your dog is afraid doesn't mean that they were abused, okay? That does happen, but it may not be your dog. But you can piece together, like, okay, if they were a street dog, they might be a little bit more protective of their food. They might be a little bit more scrappy. If there was a hoarding situation, if they came from a hoarding situation, they're probably not used to vet care. You can learn a lot about your dog just by those few pieces of information. Then, if you can, learn about your dog's breed and their age, and your vet can help you with this. You can get DNA tests. There's age DNA tests. There's breed DNA tests. You can find all kinds of things, and those can help you piece together about your dog, because if your dog was bred to hunt, so Copper, bringing him up again, by the way, the thumbnail picture is one of our other rescue dogs that we've had, Kip. She was an absolute sweetheart, and she was a fail. We had to return her after 6 months because I couldn't handle her, because she was a terrier, a Jack Russell Terrier, and she had lots of energy, and I just didn't know how to handle it. And I regret that, but we worked with the rescue and they found her a better home that was better suited for her, which is great. One of the things that Copper, being a hunting dog, is he wanted to hunt my mom's chickens. He was scared of a gun, but he still had prey drive. So knowing his history and knowing his breed, Pocket Beagle, a hunting dog, we were able to help him out because we understood. So know your dog's purpose. Now, none of the dogs we have currently are rescues, but understanding their breeding still helps us. Clover is a herding breed, so we know that she needs outlets for herding. Hannah, she is part lab, and so she's got a little bit of bird dog in her, so she gets really excited about the chickens. Joy is a Shih Tzu. She's bred to sit in our laps. That's all she wants. It's hysterical. I will walk in the living room and I'll see my daughter laying there, all snuggled up in a blanket, and I'll go, "Where's Joy?" And then boop, out pops her little head. And I'm like, okay, because she wants to snuggle with my daughter all the time. So she's an absolute snuggle bug. So knowing your dog's breeding and their purpose can help you fulfill their needs and make you a little bit less crazy. Also, labs are really destructive chewers, so knowing that means you know to get bones and stuff like that. Oh, if you get a husky, they're gonna pull. They're gonna be loud. So knowing your dog's purpose is wonderful, and it's hardwired into their DNA. But it doesn't mean that they're untrainable. It means you need to take your training tactics to meet the dog's need. You need to meet them in their lifestyle. And there are exceptions to every rule. Clover is a high energy mixed dog, herding dog, and she's kind of got lazy cattle dog syndrome. which Australian cattle dogs are known for their go, 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 go energy, but you do get the lazy cattle dog one. When you get your dog, you need to teach them to be handled. And there are lots of videos, lots of resources from good dog trainers on how to handle your dog. We have a video too where I'm showing how to handle grooming with Joy, but dogs may not know how to be handled and they may not be used to vet care. So you need to teach them that it's okay, and slow is fast with dog training. So don't rush it, take your time, but you need to train them that they can be handled. You also need to teach them general good manners for your household. And guess what? You get to decide what that is for you. If your dog does not have good door greeting manners and is not polite to your guests when they come over, go plop them in a crate or plop them in a room, move them to a room that they can be in while your guests come in. And it can be like, that's what we're doing right now. We have family coming today, and Hannah is very polite in how she greets family members. Joy is overexcited and gets crazy and she spazzes out and wants to be pet, so she's in her crate. And then Clover wants to bark at people, and so sometimes we train her through it and sometimes we put her in the crate because we're not able to deal with it. So you get to decide. Also, we have certain rules for this furniture, and it's catered to each dog. Certain dogs are allowed on certain pieces of furniture that the others are not. So just manners. Having manners around food is a really great way to do it. Please do not use alpha dog theory in your training. Run away from dog trainers that teach that, because it has been disproven by the guy who actually wrote the paper, and he spent the rest of his career trying to right his wrong. This is a bonus. If you want your dog to get used to people can handle their food, put a little bit of food in a bowl. Then have them have some manners, like they can sit, they can lay down, or they can just stand politely. Just don't give it to them when they're excited. You say yes, marking their word. This is what I do. I mark. And a lot of trainers use clickers or another word, but or good or whatever. I use yes. Yes, put the food down. Then when they're done eating that little bit of food, you pick up the bowl, add a little bit more food, and then you have the dog have manners again, and then you repeat the process. And then eventually you can start adding, moving your hand too with your dog sitting and looking at you. You can, while the bowl's on the floor, you can add some higher value food. Eventually they're gonna learn that, hey, a human touching my bowl means good things happen. And we want them to associate that, not, oh, human touches my bowl and I lose my food. I have to protect my food. And that's how someone gets fed. You can do similar strategies with a bone or toys. You wanna offer a alternate toy or bone that is of equal value or slightly higher value. Value to the dog, meaning it's worth more, they get more excited, they want it more. So you trade. So I like to get toys that are like a multi-pack of similar toys, and I'll be playing and I'll have one toy behind my back. I will teach my dog to the out command, and then I will out, and then when they do, I say yes, I switch and I give them a new one, or I show them the new one in the beginning. I have to show it and then they switch. But basically I'm teaching, hey, if I take your toy, good things are happening. And then eventually it gets to the point where I can just take the toy and it's no big deal. So those are some tips. Keep in mind, this is a journey. You're gonna make mistakes. Your dog is gonna make mistakes. It's gonna be okay. There is help for you. Stick with me, we got it. Oh, and don't forget to watch this video if you're getting a puppy right here. Peace.